Hello, in this video I'm gonna tell you about my favorite defensive combination of items in this league. We're gonna turn this butt-naked character that only has some resistance gear into a character that can comfortably tank T15 max. Without further ado, let's begin with our first item. It's gonna be this unique body armor, Reverie. It has a very cool unique effect. Non-unique life flask apply their effect constantly. Meaning, it's as if you are spamming your life flask and it has infinite charges. But it comes with the downside of less flask life recovery. To make this body armor work, we actually need a life flask. I recommend buying a flask with this modifier. Increased life recovered removes life recovered from mana when used. Here is a caveat, we are never using this flask. All Reverie does is reads this number, 1700 life over 3 seconds, and basically applies this effect to you constantly. And just like that, this character has 450 life regeneration. Here is how we fare in Tier 15 map. It is not the excellency I have advertised, but we are not done yet. We are gonna buy one more item, that item being Shavrone Statchel. What this item does is, it allows our life flask to also recover energy shield, effectively doubling this number. However, it comes with a little bit of a downside with reduced flask life recovery rate. When we put it on, we now have only 350 flask life recovery, but we also have 350 energy shield recovery. Just with this one change, we can now more or less tank those mobs that previously were killing us. And remember, this is just a naked character with 3 items equipped. Now we'll go over the ways you can scale this effect. And the easiest way is to quality up your life flask. Don't forget it. Look this number go up. Just like that, we have about 20% more recovery. And let's try it on those mobs again. Wonderful, now they can barely get through our energy shield. But we're not done here yet. Next, we are turning our attention to gem cutting. There are 2 support gems that can help us, Herbalism 1 and Herbalism 2. Herbalism 2 of course provides more life recovery from flasks, but it costs twice as much spirit. So pick your poison, I'm gonna go with Herbalism 2. This change did not display yet. In order for it to take effect, you gotta unequip and equip your flasks. Now we are 600 life per second and 600 energy shield per second, giving us a total recovery amount of 1200. And yeah, these pack mobs now ain't doing shit to me. I can stand this here all day and they're not gonna kill. Looking at my HP, they probably still can kill me, but that's gonna take long time. What else can you do? Of course, there is passive tree. If you happen to be at the monk starting area, there is this awesome cluster that's gonna provide 10, 20, 30, 50 increased life recovery from flasks. If you're around ranger starting area, or rather, I think this is huntress, or this is huntress ranger, whatever. If you're around this starting area, there is this cluster that's gonna give you 40% with those small nodes. If you're a mercenary, you have a very good node, hard to kill nearby. If you are in this area of the tree, no luck. Just with those changes, we are at 1500 life points per second, life energy shield points per second. This is quite a hefty amount. We are approaching the point where I'm gonna be recharging my entire health bar in just a second. Is there more? Of course, there's always more. We're playing PoE. If you decide you fancy yourself a rarity amulet with a bunch of useful stats, you can also get this cheap anoint, Heavy Drinker, which has 20% life recovery from flasks attached. The rest of the effects unfortunately don't apply, I have tested them, but this node is still 20% flask life recovery. We are ending up at 822 recovery. Is there more? Of course there is more, we're playing PoE after all. There is this inconspicuous rune that when socketed in armor is gonna give us increased life and mana recovery from flasks. Instead of having to actually socket it in gear, I'm gonna use my martial artist ascendancy. Now we are at 1085 both energy shield and life regen, which is a huge amount. Tremendous amount. There is this support gem that not many people know of. Uhtred's Right. What it does is when you use a skill with a cooldown, it's gonna give you this buff called Overflowing Chalice. Overflowing Chalice just increases life and mana recovery from flasks. The downside is, it has to be socketed into a skill with cooldown. Conveniently enough, Reverie provides us with the Right of Restoration. So now, when we use the Right of Restoration, we have further boost our recovery, on top of having an actually good defensive aura. You can see the buff right here. If you are tedious about it, you can permanently sustain it while mapping. Is there more? Of course there is more. You can roll this increased life recovery from flask mod on jewels. It can roll either on emerald or diamonds. 1, 2, and 3. With those 3 jewels and Ultra Right active, we are up to 1300. And, you guessed it, there is more. If you happen to have Runic Ward, hold on a second. If you happen to use a Runic Ward, and you have a skill that is very hungry for ward, like those conductive runes, you can also benefit from the warding rune of nourishment in your body armor, making the flask effect apply to ward as well. Look at that regen. I am basically permanently sustaining ward and can spam this skill to my heart's desire. Also, as another benefit, if you socket the Fox Idol, that unlocks the bonded modifiers for runes. The bonded modifier for this rune is actually increased life recovery. Unfortunately, it doesn't say it here. Increased life recovery from flasks, that is. We got a bunch of ward recovery. Additionally, since we are already benefiting from all this flask scaling, there is little reason not to use Lavianga Spirit if your build is not very hungry for mana. This way, we have about 40 mana recovery from flask every second, which should be enough for most, at least attack builds to sustain. If you also happen to be playing Gemling Legionnaire, take note of the Alchemist Boon aura. At surface, it's not that special. However, its alternative quality grants us a tremendous amount of attack speed for flask effect and cast speed for mana flask effect. So basically, I'm using 30 spirit to give myself 40 cast speed and 40 attack speed, combining Reverie plus Lavianga Spirit, since both flask effect apply constantly. And here is the T16 with a bunch of Rippy mods. Monsters here have crit, whatever. What else do they have? And is it just crit? Remember, this is the character that just stands still, does nothing, and is missing the majority of his slots. IMO, very impressive for such character. Let's see how we fare against Arbiter. Well, I'm gonna use this as a background footage to talk a little bit about this technology. I have used this on my Gemling build with a combination of Alchemist Boon. It's honestly awesome. Those 2 items provide a lot of quality of life that a lot of PoE 2 character need. I honestly think that if this is not nerfed, I'm gonna league start it next league, and it's gonna be my main defensive layer. Because, like, look at this. I'm not using anything but the cheapest item, and, well, he can't even go from my energy shield, let alone just get to my life where the rest of the recovery kicks in. Yeah, this is it. I hope you have found this video useful. Like, subscribe, all the shebang, or maybe don't. I am not your father, mother, or am I?